Welcome back to the Main Beam Podcast, everybody. Today is Landon. What's today's date?
Today
February 20th, 2024.
The 20th. Oh my, dude! February's freaking flown by. And,
Dude, this year is flying by already.
Got through Valentine's Day.
Dude, we're
Successful.
we finally got past probably the January and February. The 2 months are the most useless for deer hunting. Like, you can shed hunt, but after these 2 months, deer, we roll into turkey season. After turkey season, you kind of start deer start growing, and you kind of start the cycle all over again. So we're through about the worst 2 months of the whole year, I feel like.
Yeah, but if you're hunting geese and shed hunting, you stay pretty.
I don't know that it's necessarily the worst months of the year.
No.
I mean, there's some months during the summer months that are
Yeah, no, that's true.
really bad.
Man.
I don't even know what we're laughing about. But first and foremost, we
I know.
are powered by HLRBO. Spencer, what do you like about HLRBO? Tell us.
Everything.
Oh, Adam, what do you like about HLRBO?
They're sick Instagram reels.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I like about HLRBO? They got hunting leases. They help people get out there and kill big deer or just kill a deer. They got leases across all 50
Well, they got
states.
turkey. They got all kind. They got waterfowl too.
Yeah, they got day leases, week leases, or yearly. So
I feel like they're posting a lease almost every single day.
yeah, dude, they're
They
A lot of them-
legit.
A lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are reoccurring, like leases that aren't leased,
Yeah,
and they repost them just to try to get
Yeah.
it out there.
I see quite a few, though.
yeah. So shout out HLRBO. That is our
Absolutely.
title sponsor. So
If you're looking for a lease, check
them out.
HLRBO.com.
Hell yeah, find you a lease. Otherwise, what's new?
Let's see.
Well,
I'm COVID free.
Landon has beat the China virus.
I beat the China virus, by the way.
We sat all weekend in a snow goose pit. We did not even shoot at one goose. Dude, so 2 weeks ago, they were calling for 70-degree weather, strong south winds on Saturday and Sunday, perfect snow migrator days. I thought we were gonna absolutely mess them up, and we get opportunities every year to go sit with, and we did a podcast with Gavin and Marcus, and up at the Whiskey Duck is what our uncle calls his lodge. So we sat up there all weekend, and
It was a good time.
it was fun. Really good time. We had Uncle Floyd up there and did a lot of bullshitting and sitting in the pit and eating. And
I think the main thing that hurt was a lot of the birds were still adults.
Yeah.
And there was 4 inches of snow on the ground, and so I'm curious to see. And I mean, we'll probably never know, but you're hunting snow geese, so even the large spread that we had, your decoys are majority white.
How many decoys did you have out?
We had
about
1,200 full bodies,
1,200
and,
full bodies,
some
two
clones,
two
some
vortexes.
Probably need just a few more. We probably would have had them.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, in all honesty, you say that jokingly. I'm not lying. You say that jokingly. I mean, they're up there by Habitat Flats and shit. People are running 3,500 to 6,000
insane
decoys.
But my biggest thing is, I don't know how well snow geese can see at the altitude that a lot of them are flying. But when you got complete white covered snow on the ground, and then you got a large spread of majority white decoys, how well can you even see the decoys?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be tough to bring them in.
You got white on white.
How high up were you guys seeing them?
They were definitely
they were in the stratosphere.
Yeah, I mean they were refuge hopping, and we had a northwest wind, so they'd literally get up off Swan Lake or Grand Pass, and they would, set their wings in the air, and they were high migrators, and they were just refuge to refuge. They knew what they were doing. All adults. Which Alan and Steve and them were down in South Missouri, and they were getting in a little more juvies, but
Did they get any?
yeah, they killed 19 or 20 that,
one day.
nothing
Wow.
super great, but
Nothing
pretty good for.
Yeah. But one of the guys that was in Northwest Missouri killed 800 over the weekend.
Yeah.
How many guys was he strapped with? Oh, my gosh.
No plugs, no limits, and probably 10
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they had 250 or 36 one day and
181
181
day.
another day, and
They were fucking
dumping them.
Yeah, they were wrecking them.
yeah,
Wow.
I say 800. It was probably more like 500 over a 4-day span.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty insane.
But I guess
Burned through a barrel. I
Oops,
mean,
sorry, I
you
hit
literally
the
need
table.
like 3 or 4 shotguns.
My gun's brand new. We didn't send the shell through it all weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bought a brand new SX4, brand new extension tube on it. I think I'm holding 11 shells and didn't fire a shell through it. We did have a group of adults that came, like they were at that like 50, 60 yard range to where it was like, okay, one more spin and we're taking a crack at them, and they end up bugging out, which it was fine, but it was just tough weekend overall.
You said that was snows or that was?
Yeah, that was snow geese.
They
Snow
came
geese, snow
they
geese
came
are
in
just
that
tough.
close.
Yeah, they're just tough, dude. They have the numbers in eyeballs. So, you take like normal honkers when we were hunting them. You may decoy. I'm going to tell you, on a good day, you get a group of 20 come in or a group of 50, and it's like, holy shit, that's a lot of honkers for our area. Obviously, other areas, depending,
Right.
are more, but a lot of times when we're hunting, it's 2-pack coming in or 4 or 6. So they don't have like the strength and eyes like snow geese have. Like there's times, you're decoying snow geese and there may be 1,000 birds above you. 2 or 3 birds look at it and it's like, nope. Lead birds look at you and like, no, we don't like it, and bug out. All the birds follow them. It's a tough, it's
It's not like honkers where, you have a 2-pack, some singles, a 6-pack, an 8-pack. Occasionally, you got some big groups.
Mm-hmm.
Snows tend to fly in very,
Massive
very
groups.
large
Yeah.
groups. And really, all it takes is 1 to 2 birds to say, nah, we don't think so. And majority of the time, and as a snow goose, if majority of the birds are like, nah, we don't want to go there, you'd be pretty dumb to be the only bird to be like,
Yeah, you're not
I think out of the 10,000 birds I'm following, I'm the only one that's going to go down there.
Or maybe they're so dumb they only know to just follow the lead bird.
yeah.
A lot of times, too, though, to be honest with you, 1,200 decoys sounds like a lot of decoys, but most people don't understand a lot of these feeds that these birds are on are
5,000,
5,000, 10,000, 50,000. Like there's some large groups. So when these birds are flying and as high as they're flying, our 1,200 decoys aren't looking very big when you can look clear past it and see a field of
Yeah. Well, I mean,
5 to
say like where we were, say Swan Lake was only holding 30 or 50,000 birds. Well, we're less than a mile from Swan Lake where Pete's Pit is. So the whole time we're sitting there, the birds are high enough that they can probably see our spread and Swan Lake. And if you're up that high and you can look at, like Landon said, you can look at 1,200 decoys or you can look at 30,000 birds, more than likely you're flying to the 30.
Squaw Creek, which is just north of there, which they don't call it Squaw Creek anymore. They call it like Los Bluffs because someone got offended or some shit. So they had to change the name from Squaw Creek to Los Bluffs or
whatever. Yeah.
whatever the hell they want to call
They
it.
were holding
I just
like
call it Squaw Creek.
They were holding 800 to 1 million birds.
Yeah, they'll hold upwards of, I think last year they had upwards of like 2 to 3 million birds sitting on it.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Now, I don't know exactly how they do that whole, like, estimating how many
it's all
birds.
helicopter.
A lot of
grids
times they'll
and
like
stuff.
take a drone or like a helicopter up and they'll grid it, and I don't exactly know how, but I've seen different things last year.
Drake would probably know.
Yeah,
Well,
there
you were
was-
telling me like you'll see them on weather patterns.
No, yeah, they'll
Yeah,
show
you
up
will.
on some radars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Late rainstorm.
there's so many of them.
But aside from snow geese kicked our butt this weekend. I think this episode we were going to tell a little more turkey stories and then get into some listener questions. I think was
Yeah.
kind of the plan for it.
Man, turkey season's right around the corner.
Well, we shared a few turkeys,
Yeah, we
stories
had a
last one. So Spencer, I know, has probably got one in store, right?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, kick it off. Tell us your
Yeah.
best turkey story.
His-
Hey,
Best story?
Probably
or
his only.
Last year's
his
story?
only turkey story.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us,
killed one.
give us your favorite turkey story, and then give us maybe what
And as a turkey story, we don't want to hear about going to the petting zoo as a kid.
just give us your best turkey story.
I mean, I really don't like. They're all my favorite turkey stories.
You can't say that.
Son of a
That's,
bitch.
that's not allowed. Yeah, where's the
I think
I'll tell a turkey story then.
I mean, I can tell a messed up turkey story. I still
Messed
killed
up
one.
turkey
Yeah.
story.
with me and you last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's good. Tell that one. I like that because we doubled up that day. So you kick it off, and then I'll tell my part in the back half of it.
So we went. It was close to home. I mean, it was probably 35 minutes from home, give or take. Probably not that far.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that far from the house. I mean,
Yeah.
What time you guys pull in?
we
it
got
was
there at a
early.
good time. Yeah,
Well,
we got
'cause-
there early because we've never hunted the property.
Yeah, I
before.
just
He
got permission like the week before.
Yeah,
And I went and scouted the night before. I heard maybe one bird 2 miles away. I mean, it was far. So
we had no expectations going into it.
looked like a good piece, but didn't have any scouting or anything on this farm. So me and Brady started crawling through this. Oh, it was probably 20-foot deep ditch to get to this bottom field.
Yeah. So the way the property laid was weird. Like where we parked, we actually got permission to walk through. We accessed it through another property to get to the property we were allowed to hunt.
Because there was this big ridge and then a little bottom field.
Yeah.
And where the owner told me to park was you had to pretty much blow the whole ridge out to get down there.
Gotcha.
There was like no real road getting all the way down to the bottom. And if the birds were on the cliff, we were going to blow them out as we walked by.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a messed up story.
Yeah.
Went
So,
from one place's property to another place's property. to
Yeah,
a
we
different
were just property
I mean,
Yeah.
but so we just picked a tree and kind of just sat under it and waited, and nothing really gobbled close. Actually, there was nothing that gobbled close at all.
No, not. I mean, it was like daylight was kicking off, and just for like the listener, obviously, just kind of to visualize it, like where we were sitting, it looks like a turkey killing spot. Like we sat on a tree, had a big creek to it. Like I say creek, it's
It was
one
a
of the,
river.
yeah, it's in between a creek and a river. Like it's a big, you can't walk across it, and it's a big area. So we sat with the creek to our back. That way we couldn't have anything.
it's a criver.
Yeah.
So we sat with the creek to our back and the bluff in front of us, and we figured, perfect birds on the bluff. They'd pitch to the field. We'd have full range to work them. But
I mean, we had a strutter decoy
yeah, we
over
had,
top of a hen.
yes,
The grass was a little tall though, so you couldn't really see the hen. You could just see the strutter,
Okay.
and nothing happened. Like I mean, the birds were just miles away, and so I'm calling every once in a while, thinking that
Miles away.
Like
Oh
what-
yeah, they
well,
were far.
I mean, I'm not going to say miles, but they were just.
How far do you truly think you can hear a bird on a clear day, no wind? How far do you think you can hear a gobble?
I'm just going to tell you from experience, sitting on the Indian Mound at Tom's, you can hear them over 1,000 yards away.
That's not even a mile though.
It felt like a mile.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's a long ways.
Well, you just said miles.
It's a figure of speech.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
I
there's,
tell
there,
you,
Yeah, they were
okay,
long. They were
They were-
1,000+ yards away.
Yeah.
that sounds more like it. Than,
I feel like it's some like Monty Python speech.
And there's there's no getting to. I mean, there's no getting to them.
I mean, miles. Shit, that'd be like hunting Jeff and saying, "Well, we heard birds in Whole Summit."
They were loud as the most.
Okay, they were 1,000+ yards away. Is that better?
That sounds pretty good. to me,
Okay.
I guess.
But
On the
1,000
neighbor's
plus
property.
insinuates infinity. Like plus.
Yeah, out of
that's
out of
out of reach.
effective
Yeah.
calling range and out of.
Oh,
us getting to
I'm just asking. I know there's a lot of variables, but it's probably a good question. But truthfully, how far you hear a bird when on a clear morning? Now I know if it's windy and all that shit, but
Windy
on a clear
and,
morning,
ridges,
how far
elevation
do you hear a
changes.
bird? Because I mean, I've sat there on a clear morning before and heard a bird so faint that it's like, holy. Like I'm talking on the roost,
Right.
off the roost, completely different story. But like on the roost,
I don't
hearing a
know. I couldn't really tell you. I'm just going to tell you just experience 1,000 to 1,200 yards.
that's probably fairly reasonable.
What's a mile? 1,600. I think a mile's 1,600 yards.
Probably somewhere right in that
Yeah.
ballpark. Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking close to a mile away.
but not miles.
No, not miles, but long ways away. But anyways, continue the story. I know where it's going.
So
Obviously,
you had to hike over miles to get to these turkeys.
Yeah. No,
No, we never
didn't ever
moved.
moved.
Okay, you didn't move.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
no, we're still
I-
sitting in the same.
No,
You're
I got
playing
a-
the long game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
1,760 yards.
Yeah.
from the mile.
Okay, that sounds. Yeah.
So you guys are sitting there, and
3/4 of a mile away. Birds are gobbling.
you got these birds
Okay. All right.
3/4 of a mile away.
Pretty much.
Yes, I would
Okay.
say based on Onyx, 3/4 of a mile.
Okay.
Nothing else around. Like nothing close.
Gotcha.
At this point, we're thinking about just leaving. So I got up and I just started. What were we gonna say? Go ahead.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm listening. I
So-
just clarified that they weren't several miles away.
Okay, a couple thousand yards away.
That would be over a mile.
Over 1,000.
All right, continue.
So we're thinking about getting up and leaving, and I just get up and start calling, and this bird just randomly hammers behind us across the river.
That's so. Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah, but it was in like swamp, like it's bottom land, like flooded out, kind of wet, just swampy. And I'd say when it fired off, what do you think it was? Probably 300 yards.
If that.
Yeah, 250, 300 yards.
Oh, well within a mile.
Yes.
But anyway,
Awesome.
so no, we actually got up and walked to the neighbor, like the fence row.
Yeah, and
Just
that's
to
when
look
we
out in the
started
cattle
calling. Yeah,
pasture.
we started calling because we walked to the neighbor's cattle pasture. We said, all right, let's strike a call here. We'll see if anything fires off. And if it does, we'll see if we can pull it this way.
But it was across the river, fired off. So we just were like, what the hell? Didn't like, because we weren't like facing a way that we could tell exactly what direction it was in. So I called again, nothing. So I was like, let's just run back and sit down. So, I mean, we walked like 40 yards.
Yeah, we just walked back and sat down. And it wasn't, I'm going to tell you, this bird made up some serious ground because it wasn't 4 minutes and we were sitting there and he was, pow. And he was within,
On the riverbank.
yes, within 75 yards.
Wow.
So, I mean, we're just waiting for him. Brady's like, oh, he's not gonna fly across the river. Well, there's actually a gravel bar a little farther down, kind of where we were. So he was coming towards the call direction.
On the gravel bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was sitting
I
there
got
spinning.
I got a story then after this. Yeah, go ahead.
He just was sitting there spinning. I could hear him.
Just one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I could hear him drumming.
I feel like once they get on a gravel bar, they hang out there for a while.
Yeah, he was. I'd say he spun
Isn't that fair
circles
game though?
there.
Because that's technically open. You can walk
Oh, no, it's-
floodplain, right?
It's it's fair game.
I don't know. I just know he gobbled.
Long
probably
not in a
hand-
boat.
He gobbled a handful
Wow.
of times on the neighbors on the other side on their gravel bar. And you could tell he was just strutting, spinning circles on the gravel bar.
Yeah. And Brady's like, oh, I don't think he's gonna come across. I don't care. And it wasn't 2 seconds. He flew across and he just like nothing. You couldn't hear anything moving around. Nothing.
He flew across the other way.
No,
No, he flew across to us, but he got to where he could see the strutter, and he just stopped
yeah,
Got quiet.
and he started putting. So I got Brady to my left.
That's called he's seen you guys.
Yeah.
No, the grass
no.
was tall enough,
I just don't think he liked the strutter out there.
but Brady's to my left. You know, I mean, not like far behind me, but he was a little back and to the left. And this bird, I could just see his head, and like the grass was like this, you know, so I could just see his head. And I'm like, what do I do? He's just sitting there putting. And I was like, I don't want to shoot him. I'll freaking blow your eardrums out. He's like, I don't care. Brady just sat there and just ate it.
Spencer he turns his gun and puts it right here in my ear. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, fucking kill that son of a bitch. I'm like, kill him.
I rolled it, got up, and I was like, holy shit, it's a gobbler. I thought it was just I could see the red head on it, so I
Right.
knew it was a male bird, but I didn't know how many. If he flew across, if a different one flew across, because he didn't, could
Typically,
never
you
see
can
him.
tell by their gobble if they got a good long.
Yeah.
Well, he had a long gobble, but it was so small of a head that I thought it was Jakes have a little smaller heads. They're not a full grown bird, like a 2-year-old bird. Like it just looked like a smaller bird.
How big was his?
It's a big bird.
Yeah.
I'd say it was probably 2-3 year old bird.
So a
I mean,
young.
But weighed like 18 pounds.
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
So probably a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah, it was probably a 2-year-old bird. You could tell when he come in, like I said, I don't think he liked the strutter because he heard us hen calling over there. I'm assuming however far he'd come from, obviously he made up distance, but I think he flew across, seen the strutter there, and he was like, yeah.
2 times.
Because, you could hear him, he foof, 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 foof. He comes up and, as soon as he stuck his head up and seen the strutter, he was just instantly like, oh, hell.
I will admit, though, a lot of times, and I've done this a time or two whenever birds are hammering and they're like coming in and they're constantly gobbling, and then it's like they shut up. And it's like, a couple times I feel like, yeah, they're gone or they left. Usually when they're on their way in or they break that certain distance on you, especially when you're in the timber or somewhere you can't see very far, a lot of times they're really, really close.
Yeah, no, we knew as soon as that bird gobbling was like 250 out and Spencer called and he didn't answer, I was like, we knew instantly. We were like, we better sit down because he's coming. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't 4 minutes later, and he fired off, and he was within 75 yards.
I've done it a time or two, go to get up, or like I hear a bird gobble in the distance, and it sounds like from this kind of the same area, and I'm like, oh, he just turned around, he's going the other way, and I get up, just happened to be a different bird coincidentally, and all of a sudden, I spooked the bird that
it's burned us. I'd say it's burned us a number of
That's
times.
happened to me.
We sit there and we're like, I
get impatient.
Yeah, give 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. He doesn't show up. 5 more minutes. He doesn't show up. And then about the time you say, okay, let's get up. There's another bird firing off over here. About the time you get up and go to leave, the bird's 50 yards.
Right there.
And he busts us. We've done it a number of times. It's burned us on. But where Spencer's story's going was, we ended up actually doubling up that day and that was our last 2 tags of last year, I believe, was your tag and my tag. And so Spencer kills that bird. We kind of, at that point, we were playing with house money because I'm like, boom, Spencer killed a bird. We got all day tomorrow to kill another one. Shouldn't be a problem. Well, we were like, we've never been on this farm. We got full range of it for turkey season. Let's walk around it. So we walked up on the bluff, saw an awesome deer sign. Looked like a hell of a deer hunting farm too. And, never did strike up another bird. Heard some distant gobbles on the neighbors and stuff, but never worked anything. And so our season here last year closed at 1. So we were like, all right, we know a couple places we can drive around, glass some birds like that we could possibly get on. So we get back and several places we went to, tried to strike something up, never happened, never glassed anything. So we're like, all right, hell with it. We killed one. We're headed back to Spencer's house. Well, on the way to his house, he's got a property just off the highway there. So we're driving down the road, pull into this place. He pulls up his binoculars, 3 longbeards heading right up this hill. And we know we can get on the backside of them.
Excuse me. So you were seeing what they were headed to the roost?
No. This probably 12:30.
Oh, you got...
Yes.
You got a little bit of time.
Yeah, so we got like 30 minutes. So Spencer's like, if we're doing this, we need to roll now. Calls the farmer. Yeah, go ahead. We got the okay.
Nice.
So we go in and we know they're coming up this hill and we're coming up the backside. And I'm like, if it works out perfect, like we got the strutter.
As long as you don't spook anything on your way up.
We should be able to get right up the backside of this, stick the strutter out, make a couple calls, or just stick the strutter out and hopefully one comes rolling in.
Keep in mind it's like 90 degrees outside and we're running across this field trying to
extremely
beating
hot.
down to the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So we get up this hill and huffing and puffing, get to the top. I just stick the strutter in the ground. I'm like, I don't see, got my binoculars. I'm like, dude, I don't see them. Like they were right here. Like they had to either go to this wood line or this wood line. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, we probably sat there 5 minutes or so. Nothing happened. I was like, dude, I don't know. And we were kind of losing hope. And I think it was right then.
Well, no, it was either like the way that they were kind of turning to is they were going to go kind of towards a farmer's house, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's a cattle pasture.
Yeah.
So we were going to circle a little left, and as soon as Brady started going left,
yeah, he literally grabbed my hoodies and he's like, sit down, they're right here. Grabs the decoy, sticks it in the ground, and I could just see a red head coming up over the hill. And I think you maybe called at him once or twice.
I called before because I was trying to see if it would gobble.
Yeah, so we completely almost not 180, but just turn and just,
90.
Yeah, stick the decoys in the ground, and the bird's coming. He's full on.
He's running at you?
Yeah, at this point, he's running at us.
How close at this point?
He was probably 60 to 70
Okay, so
whenever I first seen him.
Comfortably still far enough away where
Yes.
you could
And so
swivel.
he's coming, and Spencer's like, he's coming. And he comes all the way up to probably, what would you say, 40?
Yeah.
40. And at that point, like I think I had the decoy in my gun, and I'm trying to hold everything at once, and I'm shaking. Finally, I just drop the decoy, and he kind of picks his head up and starts to go away. And Spencer's like, better kill him there.
Looked at the phone.
Yeah, it was like
12:58.
Yeah, 12:58. So I
Nice.
hurry up. I get on my app, whatever, tag it, whatever, call it in, whatever you want to call it.
Notch it.
Yeah, notch it. And so Cole, is our buddy, and he's the Cole County agent
Yeah.
here. So he sends me a screenshot not 2 seconds later from his work computer. You were close. So he calls me. He's like, "Oh man, congratulations. I seen you kill one or whatever."
It's a good thing that bird wasn't miles away. You wouldn't have got him in time.
Yeah. So he's like, where you at? I'll come. He's like, I want to come check them, check your license, everything. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. I said, we're headed back to Spencer's house. Just come over. I said, we'll both have our birds there. So Cole came over. He checked our license, checked the turkeys, went through the whole thing.
What kind of tickets y'all get that day?
And
Big
no,
ones.
we did play some jokes on the Iowa guys. So we have a Iowa Missouri group chat, and so I think we got him to. What did we get?
He turned his lights on.
Yeah, he turned his lights on or something, and we said we were sending them videos of both our turkeys, and Cole standing there. We're like, not good, guys, not good. Conservation's here, but not good. And so they were all like, our phone blew up, and they were like, oh my god, what happened? What'd you do? Like, no way. And it was, we were just messing with them, but it turned out to be a pretty cool day. I think that's what ended our 23 season, didn't it? Was that?
Yeah,
You were
you guys-
tagged out, weren't you?
Because I got a call and that's
No,
when,
I didn't tag out till the last day of the season.
Really?
Yeah, you guys tagged out. You guys tagged
Oh,
out.
second week.
Oh, that
that's
is right.
That's right. Yeah.
I tagged out the last day of the third week. Me and Bradley doubled up in the same day.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep, that is true. I forgot that.
But you were already done.
Yeah. I was done. And I had you on a bird and got you started, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and let me and Adam tell our story. Unlike you guys, miles away, we were like 50 yards away.
Dude, 10.
The closest I've ever been to a turkey on the roost. I mean, I've obviously walked underneath them, deer hunting and different things. But when you were saying we're going in the morning and we're setting up close, I was like, perfect. I love setting up close. We're going to be within 150 yards, 200 yards. We set up. Okay, we get out there and super early, super quiet.
4:30 is when we start walking.
Yeah. And we're so quiet.
It's close to the car. Like, it's
Yeah.
really close to the car.
We take our time. We get to the spot, and Adam's like, we're talking like so quiet. It's just more or less like kind of like reading each other's lips. Like,
Yeah.
we're in this spot. The birds are
We
going to
couldn't
be
hear
here.
ourselves walk.
Yes,
That's how
like,
quiet we were.
We're going to set the decoys down. We're going to try to sneak around this kind of back behind this brush pile. We're going to sit down. And I'm like, perfect. We like take 2 steps in the woods, and I kind of like start kind of looking in the trees, just kind of like checking things out. And there's a bird like right above us. And I'm like, oh, no kidding. So I like happen to be able to like tap one of their backs and be like, just like point up, like bird above us. And so anyway, we abort the mission and we're like, sit down where we're at. And we sit against a cedar tree that's like no bigger around than 3-inch in diameter.
Easy. It had more cover up top than it
Like
did
terrible.
below.
So we sit down, and I think the bird that I originally saw ended up being a hen.
It was.
It was kind of to our right, behind us a little bit, and starts getting light like half an hour later, and this bird hammers, and I'm like, since like goosebumps down my back, like, whew, he's on top of us.
It was like chilly cold that morning too, so your adrenaline started pumping. when
Oh
he would
yeah,
hammer.
I was
that was
ready.
good.
Like, okay, this might work out, but I can't see the decoys at all. There's a big like thorn bush where we put them and stuff, and like can't see them at all. And we're kind of like tucked back in the woods at this point. And just it starts getting a little lighter. You can see fairly good at this point, and like 2 birds are just ripping them off at us, and I'm like, holy cow! And I'm looking across this little like open peninsula that we're sitting on of the field, and I'm looking across it like I know I can see these birds, and I keep looking, can't find them. About that time, I took my head and I looked straight up in the tree, and here both of them were at like the tree couldn't have been 15 yards from us, and the
Probably.
birds are
Yeah,
literally
they were at like no feet.
right above us, and I was
I
like,
remember you were like, I can see the beards just hanging.
I was like, what the? So I'm sitting there like, there's no way. Like, this is terrible, you know? And
I was trying to film the whole thing. Remember,
Brady's trying to get his
I was trying to get the camera lens on.
trying to get the camera
It
lens
took
on.
you probably 25 minutes. I
Dude,
think.
Yeah, well, we
it
couldn't
was
turn a light or
awful.
nothing on.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
couldn't turn the light on, so I was trying to film it, but it was like
Couldn't
ass
get a
crack
line
of dawn,
up.
and I couldn't get the
It was so early. Yeah.
yes, I couldn't get the lens clicked into the body of the camera. It was terrible.
I kept watching the bird. Like, I kind of keep peeking up, and this bird's just hammering. About that time, it gets completely light enough, and I see him like go to start leaning, like he's gonna like come out of the tree. One sails down and lands within like 10 yards of us, runs by us, and I just hear him flogging the decoys.
Yeah, didn't acknowledge anything.
No,
so
just
straight to
flogging the
decoy.
decoys. And I'm like, can't see the decoys at all. Zero.
We
And me
weren't
and Brady
supposed
are
to be
trying to
sitting
like,
there.
me and Brady are planning on trying to double up this morning because we hadn't killed a bird at all on second weekend, I think. And so Adam takes us to the spot. We kind of plan to double up, but this bird runs by us, can't see the decoys at it. So I'm waiting on the second bird to come out of the tree. The second bird finally sails out of the tree and like comes down and lands even closer to us. And no sooner than he hits the ground, just instantly starts putting and takes off running. And I try to shoot him on the run at like 10 steps, completely whiff. And so at this point, like nothing's going right. I just stand up, like march out in the field, and I just roll the other bird off the decoys. And then I looked back and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I felt like
you were so apologetic. Like, I shouldn't have missed. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you have a dead gobbler standing like
Yeah.
30 yards away from
Yeah, but I felt so bad because me and Brady didn't have many opportunities last year up to this point, and like I thought, we were gonna double up, and here like we had no video.
We
no-
did get a little video. You
Yeah,
can
I
see
got a
like
low
a little
video,
tip.
but-
We should throw that into a reel.
Dude, the bird come off the limb. So where we were sitting, obviously, I couldn't quite see the decoy with the camera. But that first bird come off the limb, and it looks like Roadrunner coming by. Zoom! He comes flying through the lens. I'm like,
run
oh, what the
straight
hell?
to the decoys, and out of all things, we can't see the decoys when we sat down. And that wasn't the plan. I mean,
No,
we ended
I
up
mean-
having a bird above us, and so anyway, I ended up killing a nice tom, and ended up being my first double bearded.
Yeah.
Eastern,
It was
anyway.
a good, what the first beer is probably, 10 inches? Second was
Yeah.
6 or 8? I mean,
Yeah,
it was a good
that was a fun hunt. Like that was a solid morning, and I don't know how many other birds like ended up coming off the roost or blowing out of there.
There were
once we got
probably,
in there.
well, there were definitely 3, no, 2 gobblers.
Yeah.
Because I shot one
Yeah.
during the season. So there were 2 gobblers left there. And I bet you there were 15 to 20 hens.
Had to be.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there
It was
was.
a no, it was a hell of a turkey spot,
But-
really.
I didn't realize how close we were to them, but
Yeah. We'll go out there this year.
that was that was a fun
Yeah,
morning.
that was.
But I was gonna say we should scout it on. Honestly, we could probably go this. I might go out there this weekend just to see
It's going to be warm enough.
if turkeys are gobbling, just to list
I-
how many.
I've heard of some people.
It's definitely possible.
I've seen
this
some people
weekend.
posting online about some birds hammering stuff.
Oh,
around.
I don't doubt it.
Hunter sent me and Brady a picture the other day of these birds strutting in the snow that we had.
That's awesome. Yeah,
No, it's
about to be go
It's
time.
about go time.
But yeah, no, it won't be long. I mean, you're talking 1st of March in a week, and we're getting within a month and a half of season.
Right.
And a lot of times, I think they always said before our season starts, 80% of the birds are bred,
Yeah.
which I don't know how accurate or whatever. I believe that or not, but conservation has the season structured. I mean, they know what they're doing, at least claim to know what they're doing when they set the season, and they claim that majority of the birds have already bred, and that's why it doesn't matter. That's why they open
Yeah.
season up. But I like I said, I don't know how accurate that is. So it ain't gonna be long, and it's gonna be.
Oh yeah,
You see a lot of strutting and gobbling for
I'm
sure.
excited to count how many times made it through this year.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of photos of them, but
I got quite a few photos the other day after we went shut and I pulled the cards.
oh yeah,
I got quite a
Dude,
few
that
birds.
spot,
Quite a few birds hanging around.
you're gonna crush it.
That farm's a fun farm to hunt. It's just so hilly though, and like
You can't stay quiet in those woods. I'll tell you that.
No, not at all.
I don't know how many times though that like I've set up on a bird in the morning and it like came so close and just didn't make it happen, and then just be messing around and like go to picking like morel mushrooms
And,
and
they start hammering.
hear
Yeah.
more birds hammering and be like, "Nah, I'm just picking mushrooms."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, hell, they'll walk half the time. They'll walk right to you when you're doing stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just turkey.
we've
hunting.
we've killed quite a few birds off that farm though. It's a pretty fun one to hunt,
Yeah.
and the mushrooms are definitely a
What-
bonus too because it holds quite a few mushrooms.
What's your turkey story for tonight, Adam? And then we'll get into listener questions.
Oh, we'll save that one. Get into some listeners.
Some
questions.
listener questions.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions I think we could talk about for a little bit.
I think the one turkey story that I'd like to tell too, unless we do it a different time, is the one that we tripled on.
Oh yeah.
quick. I mean, you might as well go through it real quick. I'll pull up the question.
I think one of my favorite turkey hunts is Max, and me, him, and Brady kind of grew up together, and we did nothing but we didn't go anywhere without Max. Max seemed to like never go anywhere without us. It was just like we went everywhere together, and always turkey hunting together. And so Max got this farm, and we typically, like, even when we were in school, we'd convince our parents to like call us out opening day of turkey season, and during when we weren't youths anymore, and it was like, hey, we got to go Monday. Like, we can't wait for the weekend. We get our parents to call us out, and they'd call us out one day, and then we'd convince them to call us out like a few more days. And
Every day.
yeah, so we go turkey hunting opening day, and we had the spot. There was a lot of birds hitting it, and we go down there. We sneak in super early, pop this blind up, get in it, the three of us, and it sounded like I was expecting the birds to be like fairly close, like according to our cameras that we were checking and different things. Like, I expected the birds to kind of be on top of us, but it sounded like all the birds, they were still fairly close, but it sounded like they were probably 400, 500 yards from us. And it sounded like every bird on the farm was in the one tree. Like, I bet there was 9 birds. It sounded like there was, I don't know how many realistically, but it sounded like every gobble we heard was like from this one tree.
But all within about 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Couple miles.
Right. They were a couple miles away, but no, all these birds they were probably 500 yards. Maybe a little within 500 to 600 yards, but it was like they were all in this one tree. We were like, what the hell? About that time, well, I can't say about that time, but whenever they came off the roost, the neighbors start shooting on this one side, and we were like, oh, damn, he probably shot into the whole group. And turns out he ended up texting Max, like, shot and missed or something. He didn't kill one anyway. Shot it, rolled it, got up, flew off, something like that. And we're like, damn, Well, then we hear these birds just hammering kind of to our left and kind of start calling to them. Well, it sounded like they were working away. About that time, the next neighbor like unloads his shotgun down there, and we're like, seriously, like, really, and why I say really, like, not that we were mad at the neighbors or whatever, but you could definitely tell they were all on the fence line. Like, they were clearly sitting right on the fence, like they had the whole farm surrounded, like all the neighbors were hunting the fence line. And it seems like they do that every year down there because all the birds hold on this farm. So all the neighbors literally just hunt the fence line. It's like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I guess you're on your place, but they're literally on the fence line. So anyway, this guy starts shooting, and I'm like, damn, the way that they shot him, like, yeah, it sounded like they doubled up at least anyway. And so Max sends him a text. Neighbor texting back, oh, we thought they were closer than we were, blah, blah, blah. They like missed. Well, they didn't kill nothing either. And we were like, what in the hell? Like, what's going on? Sat there a little longer, and by that time, this bird hammers, and you could tell one, maybe 2 birds, about 300 yards from us in this clover field that Max had. You couldn't see it from where we were at this point. And they were kind of hammered a few times. We cut them a few calls, and they hammered a few more times. And then all of a sudden we see this red head stick up. and all of a sudden another one. And here come these three birds over the hill. And we could tell they were at least male turkeys. Anyway, they get into the field. That's when we could tell they were all 3 longbeards. But there's one had beard rot, and it had like this little nook in its beard. And it was like this really short, fat beard that, it had beard rot. It was rotting off. Yep. And beard rot's like some kind of fungus that a bird gets, and it can almost be like a thin yellowish line on the bottom of their beard, and it just like gets really brittle and it breaks off. They can, completely be. I've killed them where they're got a 2-inch beard and they're an adult gobbler.
Man, I've never actually seen that.
Really, the main way to tell, which you ain't gonna be able to tell when you're really hunting, but is a full fan. Jake's will have like the 3 or 4
that stick out
in the center will stick out, and then the spurs is a key way to tell. The beard, you just never know. Like you said, the beard rot. I've killed one that had it was probably 1.5 inch beard, and it was solid yellow. It had beard rot, the fungus or whatever it gets, and it breaks their beard off. Sometimes in like this case, this bird had a 6-inch beard, and it was just like the very end there was a little yellow, and it would break off. So we had the birds on camera there, and for whatever reason, Brady called this bird Chubbs because he had like this short, fat.
No,
beard.
I didn't call him Chubbs. I think Max called him Chubbs.
All right, well, someone called him Chubbs. So anyway, we're sitting in the blind. Here these 3 birds come, and Max is looking through binos, and he's like, "Oh, the bird in the center's Chubbs." And Brady just instantly starts dying laughing.
Dude, I lost it. I was like, because you could see him coming. You could see
naming
him.
a turkey.
Yeah.
So Brady's laughing this whole time, like, it's really Chubbs. And Mac's like, yeah, here they come, And they put on a show, strut all the way into us. And we put our decoys at like 5 yards. And I don't know why. It seems like when it's dark out, we'll like, oh yeah, walk out and put our decoys and like look back and be like, damn, this is kind of far. And we'll set our decoys down to get daylight, and they're like no yards away.
Yeah.
So these decoys are like super close. We let them come all the way in. Brady's filming, and me and Max are sitting there, and these birds just start boot the Jake off the stake. Chubbs is trying to breed the lay down hen that we got. And like we're just dying laughing, and Brady's laughing so hard and so loud that these birds shock gobble to his laugh.
Yeah. There's a video. I've seen the video.
Yeah, no, the film's on Triple Beam on YouTube, and you can literally. I actually toned our laughing down because it got so bad to where I was laughing so hard. I was like, if somebody don't shoot one of these, like I'm gonna laugh them
Brady,
away.
You can kind of hear Brady in the video like someone just shoot one, and they're like running around and like super like sporadic though, and it's kind of hard to get a shot because 2 of them are they're kind of all in and out of each other.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of 17-year-olds in a strip club.
Anyway,
only some people will get that joke.
Brady tells Max to shoot one, and Max has first shot. So, and we elect not to like 1, 2, 3 shoot, because I just as close as they were, we just don't like doing that. So Max shoots the first one, and they run out like another 5 yards and just kind of like stand there, and Max goes to cut him a call, and like mid gobble, I just blow this other one away. And so the last one's Chubbs.
Out of all of them, like, Chubbs is standing there like, hey guys, like what happened?
He's literally standing there, and he's still within the third one's still within 20 yards. And Brady, like,
I literally laughed all the way through the trigger pull.
It would have been nice if he would have like panned the camera for the third one, but he didn't. The first 2 are great video. The third one,
they don't need to do the shots completely off.
You just hear Brady go, Max, pass me that gun. And it was because I had a gun, Max had a gun, Brady was videoing. And so Max passed Brady the gun.
Yeah,
Brady,
and
Brady shoots Chubbs.
I'm like, see you later, Chubbs. And I just
Brady shoots Chubbs
unalive,
and then we just start dying laughing because all of us are like, did that really just happen?
All the neighbors wasted their ammo.
We flipped the blind over. Like we started laughing.
Oh
just
yeah,
launched
we threw the blind
up.
off of us, and we got these 3 birds out there. It was awesome.
It was hilarious.
We went and got McChickens from McDonald's.
Celebrated, baby.
Yeah.
That was
tradition
Yeah.
back then. Hit up a good old either McGriddle or McChicken from McDonald's.
yeah.
And
All right, our first listener question, which keep in mind we don't have many listeners, but shout out to Cole McBride. Cole McBride says, "Y'all ready to shoot some turkeys or what?" Of course, Cole. We're always in the turkey killing mood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got plenty of more stories.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got some
we're
more
doing some
stories,
stories this
and dude, hopefully we can get on a hunt with Cole. I'd like to get him up here and see if we can't kill a bird with Cole. It'd be pretty
Especially, I
dope.
got some public land spots that
Yeah, we got
tend
quite
to
a few spots. I think we
be
could.
productive.
I know he's got.
we got some spots this year. I got an Iowa tag.
Yeah,
Kansas tags come out tomorrow. So
Yeah,
see what happens.
yeah, we'll see.
Might be going to Kansas.
I might not. Probably won't be going out of Missouri. I actually assume.
Adam's about to have a
Adam's
kid.
About to have a kid.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, dude.
I love my
we're-
wife. Hope she's listening right now.
Shout out.
shout out to Addie.
Yeah. At least you didn't have it in the middle of the rut, Adam.
I know.
Yeah,
This was
true.
actually planned.
Don't worry, Adam. I will come. I will babysit like
Not during
turkey season, so you can go out
Yeah, right.
after I get my bird, of course.
That's more like it.
No.
No,
Dude,
Adam. What I mean is, you hold the gun. I'll rock the kid next to a different tree,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll get it done out
Honestly, we just put the baby behind the camera, and then you and I can just double up.
there. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's
no,
a good
dude,
point.
we're freaking ready. I think we're always excited for youth season. We always
That
try
could
and
be
take
here in
the
time
youth-
for youth season.
Yeah.
though.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think this year we usually take one. I think we're going to run 2 youths this year. Actually, I think we got 2 kids that want to go.
Hopefully,
We got-
that's
Didn't we
what-
try to do 2 last year and one of them backed out or something?
Maddie's
Yeah.
sister couldn't go because of basketball.
basketball.
yeah.
She had some stuff, but
I
no,
think-
that's always one
Yeah.
fun thing that I look forward to every year. Is all of our, generally speaking, anyway, cousins or people in the immediate families older than the legal age to hunt youth season. So we always find someone else to go lately, and it's always a great time. Like I love finding someone to go out and
Yeah.
take them youth
Yeah.
hunting.
So Cole, if you have any youngins in your family that you want us to take, let us know.
I think I got my youth for the year.
Yeah, we
As
got.
of
I think
now.
we got one. We potentially got 2 for this year, depending on basketball. For
I think the youth
but-
this year's fairly young, like 7. So
Oh wow.
we got.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have an older because
that's-
Trenton's 15. He's never killed a turkey.
Stay quiet.
never
still.
No, I don't think Trenton's ever killed a turkey. So we'll have a 15-year-old and probably a 7-year-old, which it'll be his last youth
Youth
season.
season, yeah.
But I mean, no better time to
Yeah.
go ahead and get him out there and see if we can't kill him
Kill a
a bird.
bird.
So, yeah, dude, it's coming up quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, yeah, you're
Exciting.
talking a month
First
and
week
a
in
half.
April, isn't it?
Well, second. Well, I don't know when the first weekend lands. If the first weekend lands like a first and second, then it would be the second week.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
it's the 6th and 7th of April.
I'm excited to see what Connor and Cole produce this turkey season. Connor's been pumping out some badass reels, so their turkey season's gonna be.
It is in fact the first weekend in April. The
Yeah.
6th
Yeah,
and
because
7th.
last year was that too. Because you made a joke to Justin. We brought the biggest joke we know.
Yeah.
that was April 1st last year. It was the first and second last
No,
year.
yeah. So the
Last year.
first turkey hunt last year, we're standing there. I'm filming Landon and Justin, our cousin that we took last year, and I'm like, all right, go ahead. I'm recording. Like, go ahead, start talking, do some A-roll
Yeah, and keep
stuff.
in mind we've already had like 2 opportunities to possibly kill birds, but we were all sleeping and like just long.
Stupid shit was.
I wake up.
Field
I'm not.
sleeping?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. But it's so windy. We can't even hear a bird on the roost.
Gotcha.
So we fall asleep. It's like 9:30, 10 in the morning. It might have been a little later, and it is so windy, like ungodly windy. And we just set up on this field. Sun starts hitting down. We fall asleep. I just so happen to wake up, and none of us are sitting very close. And this bird's not strutting at all. I just kind of look over, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a decoy. Like, that doesn't look like, like we didn't put our decoys over there. And I kind of look over to the left a little bit, and I'm like, there's our decoy. I'm like, oh, and I'm just quietly sitting there. And here's this long beard just standing there, like, checking things out. And I turn around, and I try to get, like, everyone else, like,
Well, me and you were like
You should have
10
shot.
yards behind him.
yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, I try to, like, get everyone's attention, quietly, when actually I was probably like, long beard.
Yeah, you
Someone shoot it.
gotta get the youth.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So anyway, it basically putts a little bit, runs away, and I was like, oh man, like rough day. So we get out this on the evening because youth could hunt all day, which adults can hunt all day in Missouri
Now,
this year.
2024.
Yeah.
So besides public land's still the one.
Which is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we go to this other spot and we're kind of like doing an interview and we're like pretty worn out for the day. And Brady, I was like, I don't even know what to say. And I'm sitting there. And so he like pans it to me. It's me and Justin sitting there. And I was like, well, this morning wasn't going very good. And I was like, something about.
You said it's April 1st, April Fool's Day. So
We brought the biggest joke.
we brought the biggest joke we know, and I pan over to Justin, and Justin just standing there like motherfucker. It was so funny, dude. I never laughed so
It
hard.
was so funny. I just like pull it all the time. Like sometimes it just. They just
right
threw the
out.
camera on me.
Yeah.
I just say random stuff, and anyway, it was hilarious. We laughed for a while, and Justin laughed a lot too. Honestly, Justin was really fun to take. We got on another bird that evening, even, and still like. Nothing that was his fault. We just couldn't get it in range. We kind of like walked up on it and then glassed it from a while, and then we were like chasing behind the bird the whole time. Like it had a place it was going to roost, and we were just like not. We were just one step behind it all the whole night. But then the next morning we went, had an unbelievable hunt, ended up getting him a bird, and
Yeah, you ended up killing one.
yeah, he was
Spencer was sick. It was all three of us because Spencer was you were
yeah
filming.
yeah. The next morning was great. It wasn't very windy, super nice, clear morning, and it was
we steamrolled one.
oh yeah, it was a lot of fun that
Pretty
morning.
cool.
So
Well, next question. Everyone good with that one? Thanks, Cole, for the question. And shout out to you and Connor. You've been pumping out some sick turkey content so far. If anyone wants to check that out, The Road Outdoors and Cole McBride. Next question. The one and only Brendan Baker. Which this is, I think we could do a whole podcast on just this
We might even
question.
have to,
And
wait on it.
so we'll just hit some top stuff, and then we might save it and do like a whole thing.
hit
But
us with it.
each person's biggest takeaway from 2023. So this is just kind of deer season overall.
That's a tough one. Dude.
That is a very deep.
It's a tough one to think, but so I obviously read them kind of pre-podcast, so I kind of knew like what was coming. But I think my biggest takeaway from 2023 is that persistence pays off, and like never letting that never letting doubt come in your mind, or like the bullshit come in your mind of getting down on yourself when things aren't working out, like keeping your head in the game and keeping on like the path that like that you're going to kill something. So like I'll say Deuce, for example. Like I don't know how many years, oh god, it's like 6 or 7 years that I've bow hunted. Like I've killed one doe with my bow. Like I shot one other buck that we never found just because we jumped it when I was like 12. But like every year I tell myself like I just got to keep practicing, keep shooting arrows, keep at it. Eventually you'll have your opportunity. And like this year, the persistence of shooting, overcoming all the target panic that I had, it's a terrible shot all summer. Damn it, I hit the table.
I mean, you were at my house. You were shooting like 75.
Yeah, dude, I was shooting 75,
Easy.
80-yard bombs like it was nothing this year because I shot so much. And so I knew coming into this year, like obviously with the tag that Landon drew, I was going to get a bow hunt more this year. So I knew like I better be on my shit this year because like it's, I was going to be shooting. And obviously we put all the pieces together on Deuce and that it worked out. I ended up killing him. But that was my biggest takeaway, was not letting the doubt. And like how many times we sat in the stand and going, damn, that sucked, didn't see this deer, or so close but didn't make it happen, or you shoot and miss a deer, shoot and hit a doe, don't find it, whatever it is. Like not letting that doubt in my mind has definitely made it better it's better bow hunting to me. Just being positive. I feel like you almost, like some of the things you dream up almost just happen.
I would say
way.
something that I took away from this year, something that I just recently learned, that turkeys probably, as far as what they seem, they're probably within a few miles.
Tragedy. Jesus.
That'd be one thing, even though they might seem miles away, they're probably not
Yeah.
if you can hear them.
And I don't know. I feel like my takeaway this season was, and I think we could probably talk a lot about this, but just one, especially with getting my wife on a buck early on in the season, is just doing more. And you guys did a ton of it, scouting.
Yeah.
Like, you should be scouting, like, I don't even know the percentage more, but a lot more than you hunt.
Yeah, and I think in that scouting, you're saying, like, you're
Cameras.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
going to say, you're not including just glass and boots on the ground. You're talking pay attention to your camera, your wind, and the weather data to say this deer showed up this time, this time, this time. You're putting a plan together and you're executing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I felt like that was really important too. I mean, she got hers on private land, but I felt like on public land too, I was getting some photos of deer that I've gotten years past that are showing up at the same time frame.
Yeah, and not only photos. I mean, you were seeing
Yeah.
shooters.
Yeah, no, they were good.
Oh, geez. Oh, my.
Slow down
Mountain
there.
flips the whole table
Yeah,
over.
so that'd be my takeaway probably for this season, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but that for sure was, I would say, the number one difference for this year with just getting
Absolutely.
on the board. It
And-
may not be the biggest deer that we shot, but just good, mature ones that were.
I'll elaborate on that if you'll let me a little
Yeah.
bit. I know, obviously, Brendan, we're more fortunate as far as like time being able to hunt. I know some of his places are, other
Farther.
people hunt and
Yep.
farther away, and it's a struggle for him to do some of the things that we do. But I just as far as talking about it here, I would recommend really the. What was that? Oh my. No, I mean I'm not trying to shit on him by no means. I'm just saying what I know, how he hunts, and the struggles he goes through because obviously
He's
the
got
places.
the pressure on
Yeah,
some of his
he's
spots.
he's got pressure all around him.
got more pressure than my public land.
Honestly,
I was
so
trying to keep from sneezing, honestly.
Yeah,
While you guys were
sounded like
talking.
a sneeze.
I'm
that
just
turned into
saying-
like a
I'm just
farting
saying.
noise.
I know, I was trying not to laugh and sneeze at the same time.
I'm just saying the trail cam data log has been huge for us over the years and paying attention to that. Like if I could recommend one thing, it would be getting a hard drive, logging your trail cam pictures, and going back to that past history of deer and looking at that.
In all seriousness, I think, honestly, along with what you said, I think that really helps us is the property that we hunt is mainly just me and Brady. We don't have anyone that's competing with us or people that are going in on wrong winds. And, if we're not there, no one's there. So mainly the farms that we hunt, we're fortunate enough that it kind of is like a sanctuary until we only go up there to either run cameras, set cameras, or plant food plots or check stands or hunt.
Yeah.
So in a year's time,
There's almost zero intrusion.
there's hardly any pressure, and a lot of that upon even running cameras. I mean, I have a hard drive and I sit down when I run cameras. I name majority of the deer that I can recognize. A spike, I don't keep track of, but any deer from, I'm going to call it 2 years old and older, I have a name for, and I keep track of. Whenever I get a picture of that deer, I just drag it over into that folder and I keep going through my cameras. Well, at the end of the day, or even if that deer's 2 years old, well, if it doesn't show up next year, I'm not out of anything. If it shows up next year, I'll continue to save the pictures, and then I can compare. And generally speaking, I put my cameras in the same spots year to year as I did last year. And I'll have a few cameras that I'll move different places, but I have a lot of cameras that I run in the same place, same food plot, a scrape that I know that had been there in years past. So I take these pictures and I continue to put them in these folders. Well, if I get, I start getting pictures of a deer that from 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, and over the course of 2 years, 3 years of history I've had with this deer, I compare, okay, what did he do in October? What did he do in November? How is it correlated? And a lot of times you'll notice that, well, on this date, he was here, and that next year on the same date, he was in the same spot. Or, he was 2 days off, but in October, he likes to hang out on this side of the farm. And like Deuce, the deer Brady killed, his core area was,
The only reason I killed that deer is because past trail cam history.
he hung out
I've said it 1,000
in
times.
a
It is
10 or 12, 15 acre block of wood, a timber, that we had him narrowed down to. And then around mid-October, he completely switched to the opposite side of the farm, and he very rarely touched the other side of the farm that he summered on. Well, the first year that we had pictures of him, I didn't realize that. Like, it was like a complete, like, well, where'd he go? And then I, started pulling cameras on the other side of the farm, and it's like, okay, now he's over here. Well, the second year that we go to hunt, I kind of already expecting it. Like, well, last year, he's doing the same thing in the summer, and I'm like, okay. Like, I'm telling Brady, I'm expecting him to do this. And he did. So coming upon this year,
we knew the game plan.
we kind
going
of already
into it.
Yeah, and they're wild animals. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, there's
They're down
variables.
to the very, and some deer are just sporadic. Some deer you just
Never know.
they're just, you just can't guess them. But some deer you can, they're pretty predictable over a time period, or I guess speaking, it increase your odds of,
No, 100%.
hey, this is the area that he's been around, or the deer I killed this year. I sat down, and I've had 3-4 years of history with that deer. I can sit down and say, okay, what's he done? And this is after Brady killed his deer, coming upon rifle season during the rut. And I'm like, okay, where do I get pictures of this deer mostly in the rut? So I sit down, I start going through them from when he's 2, 3, 4. I start going through all these pictures, and I kind of like, I think this is the spot that we need to sit. But we didn't have the right wind to sit that spot. But that's a lot of where he targeted. And so we hunted a spot that was smart. It was on the edge of the farm, out of the, we hunted the right wind.
On the outskirts of his range where he usually is.
On the outskirts of his range, even though I didn't have high hopes of killing him there. But I knew that.
We would still be in the chips of where he was at, just on the outside.
But I knew that where I wanted to be, the weather wasn't right. So I wasn't going in there. And just so happened, I'm sitting there. Opening morning, first deer that comes by, we kill him. But when I go to check the cameras, he was where I thought he was going to be.
And we've done that. So we've done that a number of times. Is we play in, like, to go to Brendan's question, we play a game honestly between like the three of us a lot. We'll, like, in season on cameras and stuff, we'll call like an evening. We'll say, if we were sitting here this evening, like, we may be working or whatever we're doing, but like me and Landon will call it. We'll say, okay, if we were hunting this evening, we'd be sitting here. Boom, load the cell cams, or obviously we didn't run cell cams this year, so we'll just go, make a note. We'll go back and check it, and 9 times out of 10, we can call our shot to where we're sitting to say.
And not being cocky to say, oh, yeah, if we were sitting there, we'd 100% killed that deer. And there's a lot of variables putting yourself in the, like, no one's sitting there, no one's anything, that deer's in there. I'm not to say if we're sitting there, a doe or two don't get spookish and, you don't kill them that evening. But
we can guess where he's at.
We can guess that, like, if you get away with everything and everything is perfect, he would be there. He would be there. Like, you get a picture of a deer, go back to bed and say, okay, if we were to sit here tonight, I bet he'll be there.
Yeah.
And then get a picture of him being there tonight. Not necessarily that we're hunting, but like, okay, you just kind of like start getting an idea or a pattern, or like.
Yes. I mean, so it all plays into, like I said, going back to Brendan's question, this whole thing pretty well plays into, if you're going to take anything out of this year, I would start logging your trail cameras and your weather data.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
that has been our biggest, aside from food plots, and obviously the farm we hunt is good, but I think you could do it on public, private, anything.
I know it sounds crazy and it's a lot of work, but I've seen different people even have pictures of a deer for, say, 4 days, and the deer leaves for the year. The next year, I've seen them, the deer shows up within like those 4 days again and then leaves.
Yep.
Well, guess like you might have that small of a window, but those 4 days may be all it takes to kill that deer. Like it's
And-
crazy stuff like that paying attention to, and like you were saying, the weather data. I like paying attention, not necessarily, how warm it was, how cold it was, but like the wind. So if a deer's daylighting in a field a lot, well, what winds is he daylighting in that field? I mean, you might find out that it doesn't matter. He's on a north wind, a south wind, a west wind, different things.
A
But
lot of it can tell you where he's coming from, though.
Yeah.
90% of the time, not all the time, I've seen them do it, but a lot of times they're going to walk with the wind quartering them or in their face.
a lot of times, so
you
I've
can,
had
you know where they're coming
I've
from.
had
at
deer
that point.
daylight in them fields and be like, okay, he's using that field on a south wind. Well, if we were to hunt the stand that we had, a south wind wouldn't work. So I'm obviously not going into like I'm gonna have to move a set or saddle hunt or
Yeah.
hang and hunt. Like hunting my stand is not going to work because he enters that field or he uses it most times on just randomly say a south wind. But what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people will go hunting and be like, well, he's been consistent for the last 4 or 5 days and he didn't show up tonight. Well, he probably tried to show up or was going to show up. He probably just winded you before he ever got there and you didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to necessarily see a deer for it to ever bust you. Like, there's probably plenty of deer that bust you that
Yeah.
you never see. That just smell you, wind you, and don't.
And
Go on.
Yeah.
so the cool part about it was you Spencer, you started logging a lot of shit this year. Like you went back through 2 years worth of trail cam cards and logged everything. And it was cool when we put all the pieces together because we didn't realize how much like Curls was consistent like over the last I'm not saying consistent like day wise, but like how many pictures you actually had of him over the last couple of years from 2 to 4 was pretty cool.
I think a lot of things too that I take away from this year is like the sheds we found already this year. A lot of them deer, you can say it kind of shows you, where they like to be or spend time in late season.
Yeah.
That's kind of their. Now, like I said, generally speaking, some deer just wander around and find them anywhere. But it likes to show a lot of times because majority of the sheds you're going to find is between bedding and food this time of year. So where you're finding a lot of them sheds is potentially a good area. You could say that deer beds in late season, or where they like to feed in later in the year. I just try to pay attention to those things and keep those things in mind whenever I'm going on to next year and targeting a specific deer.
Yeah. What
So
about-
yeah, I was gonna say what's your takeaway from 2023?
I got to kill curls in the first 3 days of the season.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. No, that's no joke.
I'd say, actually, take that back. I'd say, on top of everything, I learned one of my biggest takeaways from this year is always push the powder out of your muzzleloader and put new powder. Every time.
No. What about you, Adam? I guess you
Well,
already. Yeah, you already went. That's right. But no. So Brendan, we appreciate the question, and we talked about it several times. We need to have him on talk about some land sales.
Yep.
From he works for Mossy Oak doing some
Mossy Oak Properties.
Yeah, doing land sales. So that's really cool. I'd like to have him on, talk a little bit about land sales and kind of what it's like being in that space and different stuff. But no, in all seriousness, like I said, the main takeaway, if you're going to take anything away from it, like stay persistent. Don't let that doubt get in your mind of if things aren't going right. Sometimes it takes a couple years. Sometimes it takes just a couple hunts. But
No, absolutely. And as I was just
log
saying,
that trail camera data and be ready to jump at the the bucks when you start putting the pieces together.
that's a good point that you bring up, just staying persistent and don't letting your own mind beat itself, because this year we started off in Kansas, I miss 180 to 200 inch deer with my muzzleloader doesn't go off. The primer is the only thing that goes off. I could have easily curled up in a ball and said, this season's it. Or like,
wrong button.
like we could have, we were pretty low at that point, and
Yeah,
we
it
started
was.
the year. That's how we started the year off. But we didn't let it beat us up. We came home. We got right back after it. You end up killing Deuce within 2 weeks of being home.
Yeah.
I turned around, killed the Fine Nine. You know, like we made do with what we had, even though we started off
Yeah.
pretty shitty. Like me and Brady were pretty down in the dumps after that in Kansas. You know, it was like
What day was that in Kansas?
I couldn't tell you.
early
for sure.
September
I don't
or
wanna,
late September.
I don't want to remember
Yeah,
that
It was
day.
after Addie had shot her buck, right?
We were out there when Addie shot her.
Yeah,
buck,
that's
but
right.
she had already
Yeah.
killed it whenever we were
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
But like I said, just a bad way to start the year, and we could have let that one bad thing happen, predict the rest of our year, and it could have went south really quick. But we held our heads up, said, you know, it happens. It's a big deer, but I can't change what happened. So let's look up from it and let's make the most of it. And that's kind of what we did. And so, like I said, there's a lot of things out there that suck. And even out there hunting and you have a deer bust you or whatever, you know, it's easy to get discouraged and say, man, there went my chance. I'm not going to get another opportunity. But or take Cole McBride for a good example this year.
Yeah.
He's hunting a 200-inch deer. He's in the stand. It comes out, I think he said 28 yards or within 30 yards, and he misses with a bow. He could have easily sat there and been like,
I'm done.
this is it. I'm done. I'm not hunting. But, you know, as down as he was, he stuck to it.
And
And
Connor too. Like,
yeah, Connor to stick with him. And what, 3 or 4 days later, he got his another opportunity, killed it.
Mhm.
You know, he could have easily just completely.
Yeah. Shout out Cole McBride, episode 9. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
Full story.
I mean, just it's simple things like that. Just as hard as it is, just keep going, and
Yeah.
you never know when that second opportunity is going to present itself.
And it's always at the weirdest times. Whenever
Yeah.
you let your guard down, that's whenever it's
I don't know
gonna
how
happen.
many times that I've let my guard down and been like, man, we've grinded it out, we've hunted day after day, and this ain't gonna happen. And then
we
it's
start
like,
getting soft minded, and the
yeah,
next thing you
and
know,
next thing you
boom.
know, that big deer standing there and I'm
And
not
we-
prepared,
yep.
and then
turkey.
it gets worse from there. You know,
Yeah.
so like
Yep.
stay after it, and
Next question. Don't mean to cut you off, but
Very good.
next question.
Gotta get through a couple more.
Yeah, we'll get through a couple more. Drake, Mr. Drake Buckholt, shout out Drake. He'll probably be on in whenever you come up to Iowa, he'll probably podcast with us.
Early March.
Yeah, it'll be early March. Drake asks, what does hunting mean to you all? And like, what keeps you all going? So two-part question, kind of. I'll tell you what, unless someone else wants to start.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll tell you what it means to me. It means a lot of it is the people you meet on the way. I can't tell you how many times we've, not only with the podcast but with filming, we've met different people, and I feel like the people you meet's more important than almost your, the trophies you kill and stuff. And Michael Waddell had a good quote, honestly. Now that I say that, he says, damn, I wrote it down. Hold on.
He goes to quote someone,
hold
doesn't
on.
even know the quote.
I want to make sure I say it right. It's our biggest trophy room is the people we've met. So kind of along the lines of what I was saying, it's not all the, as we sit down here, all the deer on the wall, or all the
Shout out
turkeys
to
on
you, Drake. You're a big trophy.
Yeah, Drake. I wish I had a button that would be like love, love, love or something. But
But that's a super
Yeah,
good point.
you know,
That's how we met Drake.
Yeah,
that's how we met.
you
Adam,
guys, yeah. It just, we were all brought together from filming stuff, and it's just that quote strikes me, deep, because we've met so many people along the way, and each person is special. And it's like you meet, every time you meet somebody, you get the new connection, and then you may go, like me and Lana met this guy named Pat. He's, 50 some years old or 60 years
I'd
old
say
this weekend.
Probably early 60s.
Yeah, we met him snow goose hunting just with uncle, and he just happened to show up and started talking to him. Super cool guy. Dude has stories like you wouldn't believe, and just made a connection with him. And we got done snow goose hunting. He's like, man, you guys need to come up. I need to take you. I got a couple timber holes you can hunt. All different duck hunting opportunities and all kinds of stuff. And it seems like every time we go somewhere and you meet people, it just opens up these connections. And I feel
could have
like,
sat there and talked to the guy all day long. And we didn't kill a goose all weekend, but just sitting there and him telling stories, and he's hunted to, South America and Canada and all over. He's been to 31 different countries, and he was a very, very awesome guy to listen to, and the stories he could tell and the things that I just learned from him, from a guy that's done hunted
all over the world.
Yeah. And
so that's
had
really
way more experience than me and you combined.
Yeah. So like I said, what I was getting at, the second part to his question, what keeps you going? That's kind of what keeps me going, is the chase for that next story, or the next person you're going to meet that you meet and you're like, God, that dude's fucking cool. Like everyone has their own stories and their own path. And I think, like I said, that's what really keeps me going is the stories and the people that you meet along the way.
And there's not one person out there that's the same. Like us, we share in common. We all love to hunt, but there's always something new that someone's done that not many get to do. Like Pat, for example, he's hunted in several countries that we may never meet someone again that's hunted in that area, and just him telling stories and things that he's learned and people that he's met over the years, and just super nice guy. And you don't realize a lot of times how nice a lot of the hunting community is, and for him to tell us, hey, you guys are welcome up to come hunt with me anytime, come up. And it's like, it's pretty neat, and just like you said, the connections and the people that it brings us to.
We'll let you two go, and then we had another question come in that I feel like we're going to have to hit on. But I'll read the question again for you. Drake asks, what does hunting mean to you all, and what keeps you going? Spencer, go ahead.
I mean, honestly, exactly what you said.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean,
I was going to say, I feel like I said it. I feel like I kind of spoke
answered
for
the whole thing.
I feel like I kind of spoke for all of us, because I feel like it's a general, like it obviously cuts deep, but I feel like it's kind of like what keeps all of us going is the adventure of it.
Yeah, I would have to obviously agree with that. But I would just to add on top of that, I'd also say, just especially in those moments like, after harvesting, a turkey, or in particular, like having a story behind it, like a deer that you've had on camera for a few years and have been tracking. And to me, when I get out in the woods and it's quiet, I just find that it's a peaceful place to pray and be closer to God and my faith. And I find that that's also something that I find very near and dear to my heart as a hunter. Just having an opportunity just to kind of be out in the wilderness with God and just see what His creation, is it what creation's in front of me. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
just to add on top of that.
Well, that into if you can harvest an animal, you can share what God produced. And, be able to eat, put food on the table,
And give more. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of tasty little critters running around there.
So Drake, Drake asked said something else, which he says, if you all need some more, he said, dream hunts, memorable hunts, maybe not success stories, but memorable hunts. But Jacob Colbert, shout out Jacob, he says, I would love to do what you all do full time. How did you get to where you're at? Well, Jacob, thanks for the question, but in all honesty, we don't do it full time. I would love to. It's just a very expensive hobby, but and I think this question can go two ways. Obviously, I think Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that can kind of give a false narrative. Like, obviously, we hunt and fish a lot and bird hunt. We do a lot, and we're always posting on there. So it may appear like we do a lot of this full time.
We probably hunt more than the average person. Has.
So, I mean, to the people that look at our social media, it obviously looks like we do a lot of filming and like podcasting and stuff full time, but we absolutely do not. But he asked kind of like he said he'd love to be where we're at and like asked how we got here. I would say how we got here is just kind of goes back to that persistence thing. Like we just kind of had a small group starting out and just had a dream, had a vision, and we kind of put it in place slowly. We didn't start out with expensive stuff at all. Like we started out with a $200 camcorder, and each year we just told ourselves, okay, we're going to set a little more back. We're going to get better. We're going to get a little better year after year after year. And it's been like 8 years now that we've been 6 or 8 years now that we've been going, and we're obviously
It's taken a long time, but I mean, me and Brady started it way back in the day, and
with Max, yeah.
with Max, and there was a lot of people that gave us shit and made fun of us, or like, oh, you guys are filming, or like. And I will admit, our videos were trash. Like,
they still are.
You go back and watch them, and they're hilarious. Like,
Yeah,
they're funny, but it's always fun to look back. But I feel like there's a lot of people, especially this day and age, everyone and their buddy has created something, which is awesome. Like, it's just great to see all the people out there that are like have their own little group and hunting, videoing, and it's all fun and for the memories, really. Like I said, when we started, we had no intentions to ever make anything, and we still don't. Like, we don't.
yeah, we just do it for
we
fun.
don't make nothing.
We'd be sitting down here bullshitting together right now if we had a
do
podcast
this
or not.
Yeah, we all do this for fun. Yeah, and like you said with I don't know how many times I've been on the phone with y'all for hours talking about hunting or what we were gonna do and how we were gonna do this, and now basically we just sit here and record it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing I would say is just don't give up. I mean, we've been doing this, like you said, 8 years, and we don't have anyone that pays us. All this is not cheap. None of our hunting is cheap, but we're not going to, if we stop this today, we're not going to stop hunting.
Yeah, if anything, it's just great to look back and just have like a notebook worth of videos and just conversations to remind us of those memories that we made.
If we stop this or stop videoing tomorrow, we're gonna hunt for probably the rest of our lives. Like, that is what we love to do. So sitting here and videoing and doing what we love it's just a bonus, like you said, to look back on the video of different things that we harvested, and looking at like Brady's deer this year. Like, that's an awesome video that we'll look back on for years to come and be like, damn, look, like you can just relive the moment so much more with the video and everything. But there's so many people that just give up, like, oh, we don't have that many people following us, or we don't have the best equipment. Just stay at it, like, stay persistent and just keep going, even when it sucks or there's no one backing you. Like, this is what you love to do, just like keep going.
Yeah. No,
one day it may just blow up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, we may be sitting here. Obviously, podcast doesn't have many views right now. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to anybody. It's not like we have thousands and thousands of views. But if 8 or 10 years from now we're still sitting here and we still have only a couple hundred views, I really don't give a shit, because it's fun. Like, we sit here and we have fun. We bullshit together. We film.
The way Brady talks, someone's probably going to call and be like, "Yeah, you guys are canceled."
Yeah, but like Landon said, we
just can't have Troy on. We'll be fine.
Yeah. We make $0 off of this.
No, like,
we
all
make
this is
no dollars off of Instagram, no dollars off the podcast, and we make $0.
All this
off
is
YouTube.
funded off our day jobs, and our day jobs don't just consist of a 8 to 5. Like, I don't know about you all, but my day job's like
Mine's 7 to 5.
Spencer's is 7 to 5. He's a, he has a
gravy job.
Yeah, he has a gravy job. Reels in the big bucks, while the rest of us are slaving away.
That's right.
Doing that carpentry work.
Yeah.
Wearing our bodies out.
Lots of carpentry, nails and screws, and
working them long hours.
Plates.
No, but honestly, like I said, thanks for the question, but it's we don't make anything off of it. I'd say the biggest thing, if you want to I guess I'm not saying you want to be like us. I hope no one's like us, because I wouldn't want to be like us. But I'd say just get a group of guys together, and it's all people that have the same dream and the same mindset.
No, I could see people wanting to be like us. I mean,
maybe
sitting there. Well, I don't know. We could be good role models, I think. We could watch our language a little bit, but we could be
Yeah.
good role models.
Possibly.
I mean, we don't do nothing bad. We just love hunting and work hard. That's about it. Just some good old boys.
Sorry, I was looking back at my at-home camera as we were doing a little prescribed burn. I see that there's a little bit of that prescription went a little overboard, still on fire.
It's still burning.
Yeah, it looks controlled, but I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'll go pee on that one.
The fire's still burning.
Oh yeah,
Looks like someone's walking through with a flashlight.
Yeah, you
I was like, yeah,
you got a good creek to.
no, it's fine. Yeah, it ain't
It's-
going
Got a
nowhere.
good log cabin house.
It's fine.
Yeah, you know, it'd be fine.
It's fine. Leave my house. See flames from here.
Yeah,
But no, I can see people like not that we are role models for anyone, but I like to act as if people are like watching us. Like we try to do everything by the book and be good. I mean, we could probably watch our language at some points, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah,
Models.
I mean, like I said, we try our best. And I know, well, obviously, like I said, we take youth hunting every year, and it seems like every time we take a youth hunt, they're always like, "Oh, they're infatuated with us." after
Yeah,
that.
and
But-
obviously we're not, sitting there and throwing bad language at youth and stuff. I mean, there's a time and a place.
yeah, no, like I said, the podcast.
We
is
sit here on a
definitely more
podcast,
uncut.
and, we sit here and just, it's like sitting around. It's like sitting around a deer camp. You throw some language, this and that, but like when it comes down to it, most of even our YouTube videos, we try not to. And that's one thing I recommend for anyone out there doing it. Don't, we're not here to post a bunch of profanity on YouTube and stuff. We have plenty of kids that watch us on YouTube, but I don't really cuss on there. I don't.
Yeah, it's
Every
more
now and then
plain.
you'll let one slip, but we try to edit that out, and we try to just be a good model. You don't want to put that out there for different kids and stuff to watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just, again, I just say, don't be afraid. You're gonna get shit for, you're gonna get shit for what you do, and you're gonna get shit for,
Yeah,
trying to be like.
I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned
Damn
if
if
you
you
don't.
don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't
Do what
be,
you want to do.
Yeah,
yeah,
if you
take
you
the
like to do
criticism
it-
with a grain of salt. There's some that are great criticism that people are going to tell you something, and you may look at it and say, you know what, I could be better at that. Maybe I should work harder for this. But there's some things as well that people are gonna. It don't matter. The bigger you get, the more people that are gonna hate on you and try to bring you down. And some of that you just got to push to the side and just
Kill
let it
with
go.
kindness.
Yeah, let it
What
go.
What do you think, Spencer? How'd you get here?
How did I get here? I drove here.
Damn.
Smart ass.
Well,
I mean, I'm being honest.
No. Yeah, I guess you did drive here.
Well, go ahead and leave.
No, we started, obviously, like Lane said, we started small. We started me, him, and Max, and, we just kind of started taking on more people and more people that had the same dream, same passion we did. And that's kind of where we are today with, Spencer, Adam, Alan, us three. And we got a couple other guys that are pretty well just on the outskirts of us, like Drake, Steve, Hunter, and all our other close buddies that they share the same dream, same passion. We may just not put them in front of the camera like the rest of us, but we surrounded ourselves with killers pretty much.
Yeah.
Is a blank way to say it. People who are downright driven to shoot big ass whitetails and shoot a fuck pile of turkeys. That's the best way to fucking explain it.
it's a good time.
I would definitely agree, and I think some of that, like you said, where he was saying full time, I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of work and stuff behind all the scenes and
Yeah.
stuff that goes into not
Yeah.
only our hunting stuff, but
You guys,
the
editing
daily jobs that
videos
we have.
and-
Yeah, I was gonna say there's countless, and I'm getting a little better with it now, but there's countless times where, whatever we say we even work till 5, 6 o'clock, and we get off. I go home.
That's
and,
an early night.
yeah,
Yeah.
I go home, and whether Shay's made me dinner, or I make dinner, and it's 7, 8 o'clock, and I'd sit down. I'm say, okay, well, I tell her I'm gonna edit for 2 or 3 hours. It may be 10, 11 o'clock, and if she's already asleep, then I go in and go to sleep. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes with the editing. The editing
Yeah.
process, and there's still times. Obviously, we take small contract work from certain stuff. doing some pictures for small companies and different stuff. And there's a lot of times, sometimes I had to, I have to work that extra, couple hours in the evening while, she's sleeping to be able to get some of that done for the people that want it done.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. I mean, there's a couple things that people that we've been able to work with and like trade some work. Like they'll send us a few products and we'll be able to take pictures and stuff, but by no means do we make any money from it or do it full time at all. So
It's always the dream, but it's not something that we're basing it off of.
Yes, no one hunts for a living.
No.
That's a complete false narrative.
yeah.
Unless you're a big time YouTube, like obviously you take the Guggen Squad or like some of the YouTubers, yeah, they have fun
Yeah.
for a living. But as far as like TV shows go,
And I
They
don't
don't hunt
consider
for a living.
anything as a professional hunter. Like no one is a professional hunter. Like there's some hunters that are better than others. There's people that have way more experience than others, but there's not a professional hunter out there. Like everyone's still learning, and I mean even the best of the best hunters still have mishaps or miss deer. Like it's part of hunting.
Call it the practice of hunting.
Yeah, it's not
Like the
it's not
practice of
killing.
medicine, like you're
I mean,
always still practicing.
like I
you're never
said-
an expert always.
absolutely.
There's people that are a lot more experienced and a lot more knowledgeable about hunting, and
They may make fewer mistakes.
yes, exactly, they
They're
make
still
fewer
making
mistakes,
mistakes.
but I don't consider anyone to be a professional hunter.
Spencer is.
No.
He's only got 3 days to hunt.
So, but great question.
Yeah, awesome. Like I said, great question. That kind of wraps it up. Hopefully another time we get some more questions, but appreciate everybody for asking them.
So
We've been going for an hour and a half. I know Spencer's got to work early in the morning. I'm assuming you do too, don't you?
we don't need to get
Adam's
off of
gotta
here.
work.
We're all paid to hunt.
Yeah.
I got fire to go put out.
Adam's got a fire to fight, and me and Landon are jumping on an airplane to Colorado tomorrow. So we all got busy.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps what episode?
That wraps up number 13,
All
I
right.
believe. So we'll be going.
Damn, it seems like we've done more than 13.
Yeah.
So we'll be in Colorado for 2 weeks. So we'll drop Gavin and Marcus's episode this week, and then this episode next week, and then we'll film one or two in Iowa for the Deer Classic next week. So to drop, so we should be back on the ball again after vacation.
Should be every Thursday.
Every Thursday, 6 a.m. Tune in.
Yeah, tune in,
Oh yeah. Big
hear
time.
us blowing smoke about something.
Yep. So, is that it?
I think that's
I
it.
think
Close
this
her
is it.
out.
Close it out, Spencer. Any last thoughts?
No, he doesn't
Nope.
know anything.
All right.
Let's
as
go
always,
fight that fire.
Adam's going to fight a fire. So here we go. Wrap your tag around the main beam. Appreciate all y'all. Peace.